Hello, happy Monday. How are you doing? I hope everyone is well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take a moment to say hello. Let me know that you're here or type hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. My name is Laura Mazzotta. I'm an Akashic therapist, which means I've been a therapist for almost 20 years. And I am also an Akashic healer and teacher, which is a spiritual healer and teacher. For those of you who don't know much about the Akashic Records, you're certainly welcome to jump over to my YouTube channel at Emerge Healing and Wellness to check out an introductory video for Akashic Records for beginners for sure. And then you can learn all about them, how to open them, and how to use them to assist you in your business and in your personal life. And it's really my goal to assist people with healing at the deepest, most enduring level possible. Because as I was a therapist for almost 20 years and in and out of the medical community with some health problems the past 5 years, it's become very clear to me that this is the most effective and profound way to heal and align yourself with the life that makes you feel phenomenal. So thank you so much, Cassidy, for sharing that YouTube link so people can check it out. So today, what are we talking about? Today we are talking about how to master being a wildly successful entrepreneur with ADHD. So, how many of you are willing and able to identify, yes, that's me. That totally represents who I am. And I'll give you some examples too, because a lot of people don't really know what that means. Like, what does ADHD mean? I'm just going to pull this up for a second and read a few of the symptoms to you. I don't like to rest in diagnosis. I personally think that it limits us, but this can just be helpful for you to identify whether this conversation is for you or for somebody that you love. So the three main categories for this are rapid speech interrupting and zoning out. Okay? So if you find yourself daydreaming a lot, if you find yourself getting distracted really easily, if you find yourself interrupting or having trouble waiting until somebody's done speaking to say what it is you need to say, and if you find that I'm going to give you some examples of the rapid speech because I feel like that's kind of a general category, but the examples there are really talking a lot, speaking very quickly, going off topic often, being really loud without necessarily meaning to, going on tangents, and constantly like fidgeting. It's that restlessness. And I know they call it rapid speech, but I also like to call it a restlessness. Like you just don't feel totally solid and grounded within your body. And so when we talk about interrupting, that's really a reflection of impulsivity, right? Like you not necessarily being able to control either your emotions or what's coming out of your mouth, that you don't really have much of a filter and your emotional responses are very fast, right? You can also go into the oversharing category. I'm totally guilty of that. I've done that so many times in my life and kind of take over conversations because you're such a chatty Cathy. So, and then the last piece here was, of course, zoning out, right? So this is really about the inattention. This is about getting distracted, like I said, forgetting details. It appears like you're ignoring other people. You need things to be repeated. And what was the other thing? Oh, becoming bored very easily. So this can happen very often, and it happens a lot in the entrepreneurial space as well, especially the spiritual entrepreneurial space. And I think one of the reasons that this occurs in the spiritual entrepreneurial space is because the energy is always changing, the energy is always shifting. We are always morphing as human beings, right? And our fields are always changing, especially as we're on this path. We've committed to this path, we're doing this work. Then the energy is going to move. The energy is going to shift, right? I mean, that's a natural byproduct of working with energy. And so when that happens, it's good for you to realize that you can reinvent yourself at each layer, right? That you don't need to feel like you're stuck in what you've committed to, okay? Because you can get into this and feel like, all right, well, now I feel stagnant. Now I feel like, oh, I'm bored. Well, one of the reasons you're bored is because your energy has shifted beyond what it was you were doing before. And I like to call it constantly evolving, right? You're constantly evolving. And so when you're constantly evolving, you have the opportunity to be able to recreate over and over again. And you have the ability to do that in your own business. That's what's so beautiful. People with ADHD who have had that diagnosis or have some of these symptoms are actually going to do much, much better when they're working for themselves or when they're working in a position that gives them a lot of flexibility. Okay. And so this is what I've learned, because I definitely have a lot of these symptoms myself. And I don't like to label myself as ADHD, although I do know that it could easily be labeled that in the medical and mental health community. But what I like to see it as, and this is what I want to stress to you, is that you're multi-passionate. If you have all of these things going on, it's because you're multi-passionate and because you actually feel a lot of energy coming your way from spirit, from the universe, whatever, that is so eager for you to fulfill your mission. And you're feeling that too. You're feeling that eagerness and that excitement around, oh my gosh, like I just know I have to do this, or I know I have to say this. And so you're so over the top about it. And to be honest with you, your mission is very likely more important to you than that conversation that you're having at that time. Or it's more important to you than the topic that might be being discussed, or the relationship that you have in that instance. Now, I'm not talking about relationships with people who are really close to you, but this could be relationships with anybody, right? But your mission and what you're driven toward is so aligned and so passionate and feels so right, and you're so driven that it's almost like that takes top priority and everything else kind of falls away. And then it looks like you're just talking about your stuff and it's just go, 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 right? And so what I want you to do is shift this into, basically, if I've been diagnosed with ADHD, it means that I'm multi-passionate, okay? And multi-passionate is a good thing, because what it means is that you're actually tapped into this limitless supply of energy that comes from the universe. You're tapped into this limitless supply of divine energy that comes from spirit, source, God, the Akashic Records, whatever you want to call it. Okay? And so you're tapped into this flow at all times. And although it's great to be in flow, it makes our lives a lot easier to be in flow. It can also feel very, very chaotic, right? And so when it feels very chaotic, we have all of these people, all these professionals coming in and saying, okay, we're going to set very clear limits around your behavior. We're going to create structure. We're going to create schedules, all of these things for you. And so does that help? Yes, it helps in the way that it allows you to fall in line with society. It helps you to fall in line with society, and it helps you to not make waves. But what it does is it also cuts off your creative flow. So in this instance, as an entrepreneur, the way that you can become wildly successful, as I have, is to follow your energy, is to allow the passionate feelings, the passionate thoughts, the passionate action to flow through you, to come out of you, to guide your next steps in your business. That being said, it's helpful for you to integrate your own structure, your own container for yourself as an entrepreneur, to be able to hold yourself accountable so that you're continuing to go forward, generally, vaguely, in the direction that is aligned with your soul, with your heart, with what lights you up, with your passion. And you're going to say, okay, well, Laura, how do I know what my mission is or what my passion is if I'm multi-passionate and all of these things keep popping up, and then I have so many things I'm passionate about? Which one do I focus on? And what I say is you focus on whichever one feels aligned in the moment. And so many coaches would tell you that's a terrible business strategy. And what I'm telling you is it's an excellent strategy for you honoring and standing in the authority of your own energy, personally and professionally, and allowing that to be your guide. Because then you're going to show up uniquely. You're going to show up as that person who says, yeah, I do get 800,000 million ideas all day. And I know how to channel them. I know how to manage them. I know what to do with them. So what do? I get all these downloads per day, right? I get all of these ideas and all of these passions that are coming forward. Ultimately, my goal is the same. Like I said, you keep that vague goal the same without a ton of specificity, okay? Because you don't want to lock yourself in that way, but you want to keep your vague goal the same. So my vague goal is I know that I am here to assist people with healing at the deepest, most profound, enduring level possible. All of these passionate ideas that come forward, they all help us get to that goal. Does it really matter which one I choose? Not really. Actually, it does matter to me because I need to choose the one that I'm most lit up about in the moment. Because if I don't choose the one I'm most lit up about in the moment, I'm not going to motivate other people to dive into this shit. People aren't going to feel the level of importance that this has in their lives or in the world at large. They're not going to understand the importance of it because I'm not fully backing it. And we talk about this all the time. I know Darlene talks about this all the time in this group, which is you need to be behind your offer. You need to fully believe in your offer. And so I would argue too, you need to fully understand and appreciate and accept yourself as you are. Quote unquote, flighty or flaky, however you've been termed, as flighty or flaky as you can be. Own it. Love it. Love that part of yourself. Appreciate it. Learn how to work with it. Are people in your life possibly going to get frustrated by some of these behaviors? Sure. But who doesn't get frustrated with each other when you're together all day, every day, doing X, Y, and Z, if these are people that you're in closer relationships with, right? So it's up to you to be able to identify, all right, so I know what my ultimate goal is here. I know what my ultimate mission is. I'm going to wake up today. I'm going to tune into what just feels really alive and really good in my field that's going to make me feel energized, that's going to make me feel soothed, that's going to make me feel grounded. You know, grounding is a big thing with ADHD symptoms. Really making sure that you are rooted and grounded. You're feeling safe. You're feeling held. And so it's returning to that. It's grounding your nervous system because your nervous system is kind of like this, right? So even I tell my clients all the time, even when you're excited, you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment with your soul. You're out of alignment with exactly where you are meant to be in that moment. And so it's important to tune back in. Right? To tune back in and to reground yourself so that you can secure your nervous system. And so that's why it's important for you on a day-to-day basis to tune into what feels good for you. What feels good for me? What feels grounding? What feels inspirational in this moment? And go with it. That might mean that you write half of a post and then another half of a post. That's what I do in my notes app. And you can do this in a journal, but you're going to make your life a lot easier if you do this in typed form. And so I'll go into my notes and I will just start typing for whatever's flowing. And I don't always finish them in that moment. A lot of the times I don't. And then I'll get another idea and I start typing that out. And another idea, I start typing that out. And then when I'm in that moment where I'm tuning in and saying what feels aligned to me today, but nothing's pouring in, I look at those notes. What's feeling aligned to me? What's present in my field as a vibration right now? And I take that and I run with it. And it never does me wrong because it's authentic. It's a reflection of the space that I'm in at the time. And then when I'm showing up authentically, people are able to connect with me. They're able to feel my vibe. They feel a greater intimacy with me as a person. Okay? And the same thing goes with live streams. The same thing goes with shows or anything that you're doing. Show up authentically when you feel like it. Don't follow the rigid structure. Now, one of the things that I will say is that the way that I hold myself accountable, instead of, and we've talked about scheduling before, and I've used that here and there, but for the most part, what I'll do is I'll just scream it from the rooftops. So if something's coming up that I'm just like, oh my gosh, this feels so amazing in my field. And you get to identify, okay, how amazing does this feel in my field? Is it a 5? Is it a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a 10? And if I'm at a 9 or a 10, I'm going to scream that shit from the rooftops. I'm going to go live. I'm going to make a post. I'm going to go live on my story, something like that. And I'm just going to freaking talk about it and just let it go authentically. Okay. And when I do that, I put it out there into the world. Or if I'm feeling crappy in the moment and I feel like, yes, I'm at a 9 or 10 and I want to share this so badly, but I'm not in the energy to bring it forward in the way that I know is going to be the most impactful, not only for me, but for other people, then I do like a teaser post. And I'll say, this is coming, or keep your eyes peeled for X, Y, and Z, because I know that this energy is in my field, that it's swirling, that it's generating, that it's creating momentum, and that it's coming out on the table. And then I've held myself accountable. Because what I've done is I've told people, it's coming. Well, now I got to show up, right? Or I'll delegate to my team and I'll say to my team, oh my gosh, create this, right? Before I'm fully ready to dive in, because I might have some nerves about it, or I might feel like I'm in too much in my head about planning it out and thinking, okay, well, let me think about the strategy here, and is this impactful, and blah, 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 blah. No. Instead I just say to them, like, create something for this. Because then I also start to get more momentum myself and to get a good flavor of what this feels like when it comes into form. And then once that's begun, the ball has started to roll, right? And I can then follow through. And then my team is asking me, hey, how about this? Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? Because there have been ideas that come up that I fully abandon. And that's going to happen when you're multi-passionate. Can you follow through with every single thing? Sure, if you want to, but it's not required. You don't have to. It's honoring. I love being a vessel for allowing this energy to flow through me, but I am not a vessel that is fully attached to the outcome of how this is going to unfold, right? So let me know if you have any other questions that are coming up in the comments around this, okay? Because it can feel very scattered. You can feel very out of control when you have these symptoms and when you've had this diagnosis come forward in your life. And scattered is a word I don't want you to use anymore, because really what that's showing you is that you're allowing yourself to just flow with whatever's coming forward. It's not this rigid agenda. Okay, so let me know if you have questions. Tag me in the comments so that I can respond to you. This is going to be my final live here on the influencer team, but you can catch me over on my business page, Emerge Healing and Wellness, where I'm going to be doing a show every Monday around the same time. It's going to start at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's called Heal Profoundly and Enduringly. And I'm going to have different practitioners on that are going to be sharing about their perspective on what it is you need to heal at the deepest, most enduring level, so that you can create a toolbox for yourself to be able to feel really, really rooted in your own power and knowing that you have the ability to make these changes and shifts for yourself. I also have a free masterclass on Zoom that's coming up tomorrow. This is for spiritual entrepreneurs. This is for anybody who really desires to expand their energy field so that their nervous system can very easily hold more clients, more money, more energy, what have you. So that as you change when you assist your clients, you're expanding, you're not getting drained. It's really very preventive for you, okay? Thanks for sharing that link, Cassidy. All right, friends, so it's been super nice to hang out with you here. Thank you so much for being part of this. Definitely let me know if you're watching the replay and if you have any questions, and I'll jump back in here and check them out. You can also follow me on Instagram at Emerge Healing and Wellness, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.